Hey everybody, I hope you're all having a great day today. It's a little cold outside, so it gives me a chance to work inside and talk about some Photoshop features. Now, as y'all know, a couple months ago, Adobe came out with a new Photoshop feature that's called sky replacement. Now, as anyone who's used Luminar 4 in the past knows, they have these new AI features that can completely cut out your subject and replace the sky, and I've been on the fence about it for a while. I've tried the Luminar 4 version, and I know Luminar's coming out with the whole AI programming actually this month in just a few days, and I've been really skeptical about it. I feel that a lot of photo editing, when it becomes that simple, it takes away from the professionals and the people who actually spend hours going out to get that specific photo. And as much as I think that it's great that anyone has access to these things, I battle with it. But today I really wanted to dive into Adobe Photoshop's sky replacement feature. Now, it's been out for a few months, and I'm just now getting a chance to get around to make this video and really test out this feature, as I've been focusing on a lot more product photography lately for my company and with other companies. So let's go ahead and just get to it and dive right in. So as you guys can see here, I have a few photos lined up that we're going to go through today, and we're going to see just how well this program or this feature does cutting out all these things like the hair. You see here a lot of detail in some of these photos. Right here for the first one we're going to try it with is a model shot for Twax Joint Cannabis Company here in Medford, Oregon. You can see you got the joint right here. You have her whole hair flowing down, hair down here even. And we're going to see how well this actually can cut around this and properly replace this sky. So first thing I did already is I made a copy of my original layer. That way I never do anything that's destructive to the original. I can always revert back if I do end up screwing something up completely. So it's a non-destructive way of doing this. Then I go ahead and I go up to the top here. We go to the edit tab, and you're gonna see this nifty little thing here now that's called sky replacement. Now we're gonna go ahead and click on that, and it's gonna just pop this up and take a second to load. As you see, I got the spinning little bars. I'm sure if you have a better RAM than I do, it'll be a lot quicker, but we're gonna go ahead and let this load, see how well it can cut out all of these fine details, and see what else this new feature has to offer us in terms of editing and everything. And so you see it just popped up now, and we can look, and it doesn't really, I mean, it definitely darkened her out. You can see kind of a glow around her, but I'm not a fan of this particular background choice. I wanted something a little sunsetty, but not too much. So as you see, we have some preset skies that Adobe packs in with this new program. Also, if you don't like what the skies that they have going here, you can go down to this little add button here, create new sky, and you can go ahead and place your own in there, which is a great feature because there's a lot of times where I do get a great picture of the sky, but it's just not a great foreground for it. So it's nice to know that I can bring in my new sky to this programming and create my own here. But we really wanted to go with a sunset on this picture, so let's go ahead and go through, and from the way that the picture was originally, looking at the way the light was hitting her from the right side over here, it seemed more like the light was coming this direction onto her face. So I'm going to try this guy out and see how well it does on sky replacement, and it looks pretty good actually. Like I said before, you can see a little bit of a glow around her head and in her hair here. I don't see as much down here, but I'm really excited that I was able to cut around all this down here and still add the clouds. So we're gonna go ahead and stick with that one. I'm gonna see what it's gonna look like flipped, because I like the sky like that. Ooh, and I like the way the sun's coming in from over here. Now the temperatures seem to be a bit off. It's a little too like sunsetty compared to her and the way she looks. So let's go ahead and start using these sliders here. I'm gonna start with the top down. So we're gonna go ahead and go shift edge. This obviously will adjust the edge of where you have that mask it created. So if we come over to here, you can see it's gonna move the edge out away from her and kind of give it more of a faded look, adding more of that glow. We don't really want that. So we saw a little bit of glow in the first place, so let's actually just pump this up just a tad from 0. And I like the way that it kind of cut that down. We might move that up just a little bit more. but we don't want it to start cutting into her forehead like I see happening here. So actually, let's go ahead and revert that back to 0. And boom. So then we got the fade edge. This will adjust how close to the subject it's going to start fading that background to make it look more natural or super cut out. So you can see that's all the way down to 1, and then if we go back to 100, you can see how drastic that changes. So it does give it a little bit of that glow around her, so maybe bring that down just a tad to kind of help with that. Now that doesn't look too bad, honestly. That's actually really good for just a few clicks so far, and I'm actually really impressed by this feature already. So we got sky adjustments. I'm going to probably bring up the brightness just a tad, probably up to 20 on there. And that looks probably really good for that time of day. Now you see she's still pretty dark here, so that might be something we have to fix later on. I do see that there's a foreground adjustment down here that we'll be getting to. Finally, to the temperature, let's go ahead and drop that down. Bring it to a little bit colder of a feel. Probably go with like a 16 there. And that's actually looking pretty good. The scale, obviously, if you move this up, it's going to make that background larger. Move it down, it's going to make it smaller. I've noticed that the 100 automatically places it to fit with the photo. If we go smaller, it starts taking out of that. Then let's go ahead and come down to this foreground adjustment here. So we see we got the lighting adjustment. So if I bring that down just to see, it's going to change the way that the lights affect her, which this honestly really helps with blending your foreground subject in with this new background. So we do kind of want that up a little bit higher. We do want her to still be matching the scene that we've just placed in the background here. Color adjustments do the same thing. It helps adjust her to that background color, that new color. So if we were to pump that up, it's just subtle changes that you see. But if we bring it back down, you can see that now she's a little bit brighter. She's not as dark again. I did like her around a 20 probably. And yeah, that looks pretty good. And so that's all the features that they give you right away. They do give you a brush, so you can go in here and manually, if you zoom in, we can go in here and manually fix like little things. I see that she's starting to get a little bit off there. So go ahead and hold Alt so I can kind of paint away that little section there, and we can get her back. If I don't paint too much here. Just little bits. You're not really going to notice these too much when it's fully zoomed out, but it's just little things that kind of bring her back. Like, honestly, to me, that looks a lot better than it did before. And so now that we got this, all you have to do is click OK. And one of my favorite things I've noticed so far about this is it doesn't just make it into one layer to where you can't edit any of this in the future. It makes it, if you look down here in the bottom right, you have a bunch of layers that it just added with a bunch of masks. So if we wanted to go back through and re-edit this photo and just adjust minor things, we don't have to redo the whole sky replacement again. We can just focus on the minor details that we have going on here. So you can see the sky, obviously, if we get rid of that, it puts it back to a regular sky. Bring that back in, and then you can see the masking we got going here. For the foreground coloring changes slightly. And so we have all of this to play with. Now, one thing that I would end up doing here to kind of get rid of some of this stuff is I'll probably bring in a brightness and contrast filter right above my main subject so it doesn't affect the sky. I'll bring my brightness up slightly on her, give it a little bit more contrast to kind of match that. And you see we're doing pretty good here. Then I'll create, with that mask, I'll go ahead and grab my brush tool. We'll zoom in with the, for me it's Command plus or Control plus on Windows if that's what you guys use. And I'll just kind of go in, making sure I have a soft brush going. I'll leave it at 100 opacity for now to kind of see, but I'm just going to kind of paint these edges of her hair so it gets rid of that glowing a little bit. And honestly, that is an amazing photo for replacing from start to finish. So if we go ahead and make those invisible, we can see that this is the original photo. Very bland, very plain, nothing really special about it in any way. And then if we just click that one button to bring that back, boom, we have an amazing, beautiful background in the sky. It completely changes this photo to a whole nother level. Well guys, that really goes to show you right there what this new sky replacement tool can do. I again am still on the fence with it. I think it's great for some reasons. I think that in some instances it could be used for great things. A lot of product photography, I can see myself now doing a lot more outdoor shots with products and having bland skies throughout this winter, but being able to really make those skies pop to kind of show off a product really well. I don't really see myself using this a lot for landscape photography or wildlife photography. Is me in my heart, I truly do believe that should be as close to out of the camera as you can. Obviously you're gonna touch things up, you're gonna fix certain things, make it your unique style, but taking a photo of, let's say, Mount St. Helens in Washington and throwing a giant new sky in the background doesn't make sense to me. Is that's not what you saw. That's not photography anymore. I consider that art. I consider that like a fine art painting almost that you've created. And if that's your style, I say go with it, do it. I'm not telling you what you should and shouldn't do with this program. All I'm saying is that for me, I probably won't use it for that. I'll probably use it for more model shots, product photography, and that kind of stuff, just to enhance what my subject matter already is, and not necessarily create a scene that wasn't there or a dreamscape. That's just not really my style, but take it with what you will. You guys play with this feature. Let me know what your thoughts are with it. Let me know how you plan on using it. If there's anything cool about it that I forgot to mention, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time.